Okay, picture this. You step out onto this incredible landscape. Feels less like Africa, more like, I don't know, Tibet. You're way up high, like 13,000 feet. Frost everywhere, but the sun is intense.
And that's the only place you'll find it, the Ethiopian wolf's exclusive home.
It's amazing. And it's supposed to be this specialized predator, right? The top dog up there.
Absolutely. The most specialized predator on the continent, really. But here's the shocker. Even with all that space, this vast, remote highland, there are hardly any left.
How few are we talking?
Fewer than 500
Total.
in the entire world. That makes it the rarest canid globally and Africa's most endangered carnivore.
Wow. Less than 500. So that's what we're diving into today, the Ethiopian wolf. It got this huge potential home, this incredibly harsh place it shares with like gelada monkeys and mountain nyalas.
Right, these other unique high-altitude species.
But its numbers are just plummeting. It seems like a massive contradiction.
It really is. And the irony, the real kicker, is that the very thing that helped it survive up there, its extreme specialization.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's making it so incredibly vulnerable now.
So our mission today is to sort of trace that evolutionary journey, understand how it got so specialized and why that specialization is now, well, a liability.
Exactly. We need to unpack its story, the high-risk life it leads, and look at what the conservation battle really involves.
You know, when you first see a picture, the name wolf almost throws you off. It doesn't scream gray wolf.
Not at all.
It's so
Elegant.
lean, reddish coat. Honestly, my first thought was fox, like a fox on stilts.
And that's precisely the confusion. That look caused, like, 2 centuries of debate among scientists. Its features are so mixed up.
It got slapped with a bunch of different labels.
Pretty much. 3 main ones, each trying to pin down what it looked like.
Okay, so there was Ethiopian wolf, which sounds straightforward, but you said it's not really like other African wolves.
Not closely, no. And visually, compared to, say, an Arabian wolf, the Ethiopian one is just smaller, much more delicate. The resemblance is pretty superficial.
Then the simian jackal one, named after the mountains.
Yep, the Simian Mountains. And it has some white throat markings, a bit like a golden jackal. But again, look closer, it's taller, much more reddish, and just bigger bone than a jackal.
Okay, and the last one, simian fox. That one seems obvious because of the face.
Right, the pointy ears, that foxy face definitely contributes. But then you see it standing those legs. And its overall size, it's way bigger and, frankly, more dog-like than any true fox. It's this total identity crisis in animal form.
So it looks like a bit of everything. Fox, jackal, wolf. Where did the science finally land? What did the DNA tell us?
Ah, the DNA. That's where the story takes a really surprising turn and clears up all that confusion.
Okay, I'm ready. This sounds wild.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Genetically, the Ethiopian wolf isn't closely related to African jackals or even other African wolf species.
No. Then what?
Its closest living relatives are actually gray wolves from Europe and North American coyotes.
Wait, what? Europe? North America? How on earth does a descendant of those end up totally isolated 13,000 feet up a mountain range in Ethiopia? That makes no geographical sense.
It seems impossible, right?
Yeah.
But it's this incredible paleontological story. The best theory we have goes back about 2 million years.
Okay.
Back then, the climate was different, cooler perhaps. And the gray wolf's range was enormous. It stretched across continents, including, believe it or not, into Africa. A group of these wolves apparently settled in the Ethiopian highlands. Found a good food source there, maybe.
So like a pocket of gray wolves got established way up high in Ethiopia.
Exactly. Then, as the climate changed again, the gray wolf populations probably retreated from the rest of Africa. But this group, they were stuck, isolated up on those high plateaus.
Trapped by geography and climate change.
Precisely. And that isolation, combined with a unique, harsh environment and, crucially, the abundance of a very specific type of prey, it forced them down a unique evolutionary path.
So they had to adapt or die out.
Drastically. Their bodies changed over those 2 million years. They specialized, becoming experts at hunting small things until they looked almost nothing like their ancestors who were built for taking down, deer or elk.
Yeah, if you put a picture of a gray wolf next to one, the difference in the head shape alone is striking. Gray wolves have that short, powerful snout, like designed for crushing bone.
Right, like a hammer. The Ethiopian wolf skull went the opposite way.
How so?
Its snout got really long and thin, narrow, and the teeth became more spaced out. Less like blades for tearing, more like tweezers.
Tweezers? For what?
For snatching small, fast things out of tight spaces. Designed for precision, grabbing tiny meals that live in burrows.
It's not about brute force, it's about finesse. And those long legs we mentioned.
Also part of the specialization, they're not really built for long chases across open ground like a typical wolf. They're optimized for a sudden vertical pounce, like launching themselves onto unsuspecting prey.
An ambush predator for small targets, even the color.
Yep, that reddish russet coat, perfect camouflage among the highland grasses and rocks where its main food source lives. Every part of it evolved for this specific niche.
It's amazing how evolution shapes animals for their environment. And this set of features, long legs, long snout, rodent diet, it's not totally unique in the world, is it?
No, and that's what's really fascinating. It's a textbook example of convergent evolution.
Meaning other animals evolved the same stuff independently.
Exactly. You see similar features pop up in completely different parts of the world in animals that aren't closely related but live similar lives. Think of the manid wolf in South America or the Tibetan fox. Similar pressures, similar solutions. Long legs, long snout, specialized diet.
Nature hitting on the same design because it works for that specific job.
Precisely. When the niche is hunting small, burrowing animals in open, high-altitude terrain, this body plan seems to be the answer.
And the main driver, the specific prey animal that shaped the Ethiopian wolf. This is where it gets really interesting, right? We're talking about the big-headed African mole rat.
You absolutely cannot tell the story of the Ethiopian wolf without talking about the big-headed mole rat. It's the star of the wolf's diet, the reason it looks the way it does.
And they sound peculiar. Big-headed mole rat.
Oh, they are. They belong to one of the weirdest rodent families out there. They are born diggers, spend almost their entire lives underground. That big head isn't just for show. It houses powerful muscles for digging. And those teeth are no joke for defense.
Okay, so the wolf's main meal is something that barely comes out, lives underground, and can bite back. How does that hunt even work? Sounds incredibly difficult.
It is. Extremely challenging. These mole rats are clever. They dig tunnels right up to patches of herbs they like, pop out, grab food quickly, and then instantly block the tunnel entrance behind them when they retreat.
So the window of opportunity for the wolf is tiny. Seconds, maybe.
Mere seconds. While the mole rat is exposed, grabbing that bit of food, it's a high-stakes game of patience and speed.
Like whack-a-mole, but for survival.
Pretty much. And the mole rats are super sensitive to vibrations. The slightest misstep by the wolf, and zip, they're gone, back underground, tunnel blocked. You even see reports of wolves getting frustrated, clawing uselessly at the sealed entrance after a miss.
So it all comes down to surprise. The wolf has to be waiting, perfectly still, and then that pounce we talked about. A quick strike.
A lightning-fast pounce, aiming for the back of the head or neck. It has to be precise and immediate. It's a very delicate hunting strategy.
Wow. And while these mole rats are clearly the main course, they don't only eat them, right? They are still carnivores.
Correct. The mole rats are key. They shape the wolf's evolution, but they're opportunistic too. They'll take any rodent they can catch, hares, sometimes birds, even reptiles if the chance arises. They have to be flexible, especially since they live in packs.
Oh, they live in packs, but hunt alone.
Mostly, yes. They hunt rodents individually, using that specialized technique, but they live in family packs, sometimes up to 20 wolves that cooperate to defend their territory. It's a complex social structure built around solitary hunting.
Which brings us back to that stark number we started with, less than 500. They're so perfectly adapted, masters of their environment, yet they're disappearing. Why aren't they reproducing fast enough to counter the threats?
That's the tragedy.
Yeah.
Their success is tied to this very specific ecosystem, and that ecosystem is under siege. The threats are almost entirely human-driven, and they hit the wolf right where its specialization makes it vulnerable.
Okay, let's break those down. Habitat destruction must be a big one. You mentioned farmland earlier.
Huge. Huge impact. Those high mountain areas, previously wild, are increasingly being converted to agriculture. Specifically, barley farming is expanding rapidly.
And barley farming. How does that directly hurt the wolves?
It destroys the native vegetation, the specific plants that the mole rats eat. So you plow the land for barley, the mole rat's food disappears, the mole rat population crashes.
But the wolves starve. It's a chain reaction.
Exactly. It starts with the plow, but it ends with the wolf. And then there's development between the mountains, fragmenting their habitat.
Fragmentation, meaning the populations get cut off from each other.
Right. Roads, settlements, farms, they spring up in the valleys, and lower slopes that used to connect the different highland areas. So wolves, trying to move between hunting grounds, maybe find mates, are forced to cross roads, come near villages.
Increasing contact with people and, I'm guessing, domestic dogs?
Bingo. And domestic dogs are a double-edged sword here. Two massive threats.
Okay, what are they?
First, disease. Dogs carry diseases like rabies and canine distemper, which are devastating to the wolves. Because the wolf populations are so small and isolated, an outbreak can just rip through them. We've seen single outbreaks kill like a third of a specific mountain's population almost overnight.
That's catastrophic. And the second threat?
It's genetic.
Hmm.
Hybridization. Male domestic dogs sometimes mate with female Ethiopian wolves.
Oh.
Yeah. The resulting hybrids, they're not properly equipped. They don't have the unique physical traits or the specialized hunting instincts needed for that high-altitude mole rat diet. They dilute the gene pool, weakening the purebred population's ability to survive in its niche.
So disease and bad genes, basically. And it doesn't stop there. Even livestock are a problem.
Indirectly, yes,
Oh.
but significantly. Cattle grazing in the highlands.
Overgrazing.
Exactly.
Hmm.
The cattle eat the same native plants that the mole rats rely on. So, just like the barley farming, the cattle are effectively clearing out the pantry for the wolves' main food source. It compounds the starvation pressure.
Wow. It feels like they're being squeezed from every single angle. Farming, development, dogs, cattle. It's relentless.
It is. The situation is incredibly dire. But thankfully, there is hope. There are dedicated people fighting back. Groups like the Ethiopian Wolf Conservation Program are doing vital work.
What kinds of things are they doing? It sounds like they need to tackle a lot of problems at once.
They absolutely do. It has to be multifaceted. They recognize you can't just save the wolf in isolation. You have to work with the ecosystem and the local communities. So a big part is grassroots education.
Working with local people.
Yes, building understanding and support for wolf protection among the communities living in and around the highlands. Getting local buy-in is crucial.
And what about those direct threats, like from the dogs?
Tackling them head-on. They run really important, large-scale vaccination campaigns. Vaccinating domestic dogs in the villages against rabies and distemper creates a buffer zone. And crucially, they also vaccinate the wolves themselves whenever they can.
A firewall against disease outbreaks. Makes sense. What about the habitat itself?
Habitat restoration is key. Replanting native vegetation to help stabilize the rodent populations, bringing back the wolf's food base.
And the fragmentation problem, the isolated populations.
That's where translocation comes in. Carefully moving individual purebred wolves between different mountain populations.
Why move them?
To maintain genetic diversity, to prevent inbreeding within those small, isolated groups. Keeping the gene pool healthy makes the overall population much more resilient. It's a vital tool against genetic dilution and disease susceptibility.
It's just such an incredible story when you step back. This creature's journey from a gray wolf ancestor to this highly, highly specialized, almost foxy-looking mountain hunter focused on mole rats. Its evolution pushed to an extreme limit.
It really is a testament to adaptation. But that extreme adaptation, as we've seen, is also its Achilles heel. And that's the broader lesson here, I think. The plight of the Ethiopian wolf really makes you ask.
What's that?
When a species adapts so perfectly to a very narrow, specific niche, becoming totally reliant on one particular environment, one particular food source, how incredibly vulnerable does that perfection make it when that environment starts to change, especially when humans are driving that change?
Right. It shows that saving these hyper-specialized animals isn't just about the animal itself. You have to save its entire intricate world, down to the plants the mole rats eat.
Every single piece matters. It underscores that specialization, while amazing, is a high-wire act in a world that doesn't stay still.
A really sobering thought. We definitely encourage anyone listening to look into ways to support the ongoing conservation work for this truly remarkable and very endangered animal.
Absolutely. They need all the help they can get.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.